Everybody loves birthdays. There are periods where you turn a new year, and with it comes moments where you try to visualize some of the mistakes you've had in the past year and some of the ways you can improve on it in the coming year. I've never really enjoyed celebrating birthdays.
As an introvert, I'm never one to throw a party, as staying around too many people tends to deplete my energy. So most times, I just prefer spending time with myself.
This has led me to spending most of my birthdays at home alone or with a few friends, and I usually end up spiraling into a zone of overthinking, which can end up with me having a more negative feeling than a positive one. So much has happened this year, lots of good and some bad. And I wanted to do something different, so I traveled across Portugal to a remote town on the outskirts of the city to spend some time with myself in a tiny home.
Sky comes bending up before us. We hang on.
So currently we're at the tiny home now. This place was 1.5 hours from Lisbon. Interestingly, tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm going to be spending 2 nights here. It's probably also going to be the tiniest home I've actually had to stay in. I'm a firm believer that trying out different things can help you unlock parts of your brain that you might have never accessed before. Stepping away from external influences and creating something genuinely your own needs moments of space away from everything else. As a creator who makes a large percentage of his income from the internet, I constantly fall into the trap of consuming lots of content from other creators. The good part about that is it helps me get ideas, but over time I realized that I've been imbibing too much of other people's ideas, and their ideas have also been influencing the content I make. So I deleted all the social media apps on my phone and came to this cabin to refocus, plan my next steps, and be with myself. Let me give you guys a quick tour of where I currently am at. This is the kitchen. This is the living room area. This is the bed here, super close to the ceiling. And there's another bed on the other side too. The maximum of 4 people can conveniently sleep here or spend time here. So even though it's a tiny home, it still has a lot to offer. Currently, I'm the only one here. One of my ways of refocusing has been to figure out my why. Like, why am I even doing this? Why am I making all these videos and traveling across the world? Spending more time reading has helped me with this. At the moment, I'm reading a new book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, which has taught me that knowing the drive and the motivation behind why you do what you do and harnessing it can help us unlock our potentials as humans. This book has helped me understand my journey and why I am on it. I'm currently reading this book on Audible because it helps me to listen to books while I'm on the road or at the gym. I've attached a link to it in the description below if you want to read it too. Back when I was younger, I grew up thinking I couldn't travel because of my background. My first trip ever out of the country was just 5 years ago. Being able to now live life on my own terms and make money doing what I love doing was not something I ever imagined possible. Now that I've been blessed with that opportunity, I aim to inspire people to become better versions of themselves. I also want to educate others and show that as Africans, we can achieve anything we set our minds to.
The greatest work the world has ever known was when Christ came and made a way and cleared a path so we can have access to the Father.
I'm reading my Bible. I do that every morning. It's called YouVersion. So what does turning a new year feel like? I think turning a new year for me is like you have to really sit down and think about your life. And I think that's one of the reasons I came here. It brings life into focus. It's like, okay, I'm 1 year older. Oh, what did I do last year? And how can I do it better this new year? As time proceeds, I keep finding out that whatever it is that you actually love, the stress of doing it never really goes away. I don't know if people like Wizkid or Burna Boy or Davido. I know they love making music, and I spent time with Davido. Even as much as he's as popular and as big as he actually is, he still works hard every day, and I'm sure he feels stressed out sometimes. And I'm sure everybody else, even though you're doing what you love, you still feel stressed out sometimes. That whole thing of if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life is bull. What I've learned over time is finding new ways to kind of like maintain that stress and find balance in other areas of your life. Because if you're just focused on work every time, other areas of your life start to suffer, which has happened countless times with me. This is the car I got while I was on my way here. It's a Skoda. And I rented this vehicle here for just 12 euros, which is really interesting because I've never had to rent a car before, and I rented it for 2 days and drove it here. I think one of my dreams has always been to own Airbnbs across the world, because I stay in the middle of all these Airbnbs and I stay in a lot of all these apartments, and I feel like I've learned so much from staying in them, and I would love to create spaces that give other people out there that same feeling. So coming to spend a night here is also kind of like me doing research and understanding more homes so that I can replicate that idea in the future in other places across Africa and also across the world. Something like this costs 40,000 euros to build, but I'm still doing more research. This is the outdoor patio where you can sit down and kind of like have a view of the forest. This is a tool house where tools are kept. There's an AC here, and then there's also a heating system. But the more I look at it, the more I realize it's actually movable. With every trip, with everything I do, and with every day, for me, it's all about the learning process. What am I learning? And I want to enter this new year spending more time learning a lot. I want to make sure every 24 hours I have, I'm using it to learn something new, because knowledge is power and learning is life. The more you learn, the younger you'll be. And I want to stay young forever. As I start this new chapter, I'm learning to stop and smell the roses. I'm thankful that God has brought me this far. I've done so much this year. Like, I never imagined that this year was going to end up like this, because the year started just on a clean slate. And now this year, so many things have happened. I've gotten to travel places I've always dreamed about since I was young. I've been able to achieve some things which I'm going to share in the future on this channel that I never imagined possible. I think sometimes as entrepreneurs or as people who are dreamers like me, whenever we achieve one goal, we always want to move to the next goal without sometimes stopping to appreciate the fact that we've actually gotten here. So I'm learning to be much more grateful, and I'm thankful to all of you guys who have followed me on this journey so far. I appreciate all of you. And yeah, it's a new chapter for me. Happy birthday to me. After spending the first day at the tiny home alone, I wanted to learn more about the fun spot they had here. I'm currently in the countryside of Portugal at a place called Leira. It's not touristy as many people don't come here, but it's mostly filled with the locals. And walking around, you can feel the spirit of Christmas. Everybody here is kind and friendly to each other, like a small family. This is one of the beautiful things about small towns, as you get less of this feeling if you are in a big city like Lisbon. Walking around and exploring the sites reminded me of how fascinating it was to be in a town where nobody knew anything about you, where there were no distractions, and where I could be with myself and be truly present. Spending time alone on an important day like this has helped me find clarity and evaluate my next steps. And I believe it can be the same for everybody else out there. It's in the air. I'd like to end this with one of my favorite quotes from Socrates. An unexamined life is not worth living. So what's next for me? Well, you just have to continue watching.
At long last, feeling like a new day. If you can find it now, you're gonna see.
Thank you all for following me on this journey, and I wish you all an amazing holiday. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.